All this complaining and I'm starting to get sick, but it don't matter because a nigga been legit. And when I say been, I'm talking 96. Yeah, nigga, 1996.
Okay, so I wanted to make this video mostly to help high society. I want you guys to watch this, and hopefully these words can guide you better than, you know, some DMs or anything. Okay, so we're gonna talk about how we can get stronger for PvP. I know you guys seem to be focusing a lot on PvE, just like fighting bosses and things like that, but to put the game into a sphere, like PvP is a big part of it as well. So with the knowledge that hopefully I can instill upon you, you can prepare yourself to be stronger in PvP. Dimensional Duel, Mega War, Alliance or Mega War, and such. Okay. First I want to show you guys just like some stats. I want to show you guys important stats. Stats that when you see them, you'll know that, okay, that's big. That's something I need to focus on, and of the sort. We can start, I guess, from top to bottom. I'll tell you important stats and stats that, you know, aren't so important that you may think are important. HP recovery, that's really good in no Mega War, but if we're talking about Dimensional Duel, the amount of HP you're getting back, you won't really notice it. Movement speed, you can boost that up with some companions. Base stamina is 100, but stamina recovery is how that yellow bar gets back to us. It means how many moves we can use, how many times we can combo moves. You know, if you don't have stamina, you can't combo. You can probably only do one move, and then you're probably stam locked. Ultimate gauge recovery, you know, how quick your ult recovers. Like I said, we're talking about PvP now, so ultimate gauge recovery isn't that much of an important stat. Accuracy, huge stat. I know if you guys play versus Spider-Man, you'll probably notice it says dodge, dodge, dodge. Well, I mean, if your accuracy is low, you're not going to hit them. A lot of people in PvP, especially in the lower range, they're not really focusing on their dodge if they're not Spidey. So, like, we can aim for around 150 to 160. If we can't get there, then we can put on the Doctor Strange accuracy card that you can farm from Dormammu, and you can also get it from DZ as well. It's just getting cards. Just farm those cards. Dodge rate, yeah. Dodge rate, like I said, it's not too important. Yeah, it 100% mitigates damage, but if you can decrease the amount of damage you're taking, then that stat won't be as important as you think. I know a lot of you have been DMing me saying, well, if I can dodge, then I won't get hit. No, you're gonna get hit. A lot of these people are running max accuracy, and they're not gonna miss you. So if we can focus on, you know, some crit decrease or something like that, then you won't get hit as hard. Critical rate, very important. It's the percentage that you crit. We love critting. As an Iron Man, I love critting. So I want to make sure that is as close to this cap as it can be. Crit damage, that's over cap actually, but you know, it's a work in progress every day, just trying to min-max. My crit damage decrease is actually very low. It's 33%, caps at 100. The difference between 33 and 100 is black and white. Like, I don't know, if you're an Iron Man and you're anti-tank missile against another Iron Man, if his crit decrease is higher, you'll be able to see it. Especially if you both crit, it's crazy. Crit decrease is a huge defensive stat for if you want to mitigate those crits. Defense pierce, huge offensive stat. If we're looking at defense, I have 14.1. With defense pierce, you would ignore 74.6% of that. Just insane. Like, one of the most, if not the most important offensive stat, I feel like. My max damage rate is extremely high right now. Kind of need to cut down on that a little bit. but it's just the percentage that I'm going to do, 100%, 120% damage. I guess it's a decent stat. There's definitely stats that I won't even look in the way of, but if you have max damage rate and a lot of your other stats are suffering, you should probably roll off some max damage rate so that you can prosper. Cooldown, huge stat. Mine, I'm sorry I'm not setting a good example right now, but just the way the game goes sometimes. Mine isn't high right now, it's at 9.3%, so I heavily rely on my speed algorithm in the beginning of the game. So that's a goal of mine, to get me some more cooldown. And yeah, status effect resistance. You won't really notice this too much against like people who aren't trying to affect you with statuses. The Storms, the Star Lords. If you have 0% status effect accuracy, you're definitely gonna feel it more than someone who's capped for status effect resistance, But it's not a black and white stat like defense pierce that if, you go into a battle with 10 defense pierce compared to someone who goes with 75, it won't be that huge. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time focusing on status effect resistance as well. If you get those rolls on, let's say like your gloves or something, double or triple of that, I honestly feel like that you could do better. Depending, Captain America's love their crit decrease, and their status effect resistance and all of the above. But if we get a double or triple status effect resistance on our gloves, that's taken away 20, 30, 40% of stats that could be dodged that you may need, or, anything. But I just want you guys to think about, when you're looking at your stats, what these numbers do. Status effect accuracy, mine's at only 107. I apply bleed and burn, but I don't apply it that much. I do have a spec which gives me more damage if I do affect them with a bleed or a burn. But, that's on chance. I have my missile has a chance to burn them. My spin blade has a chance to make them bleed. But at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So the more you play with your numbers and test what your build does, the more information you'll know about what direction you need to go in. Especially when we get to these next two stats. PvP damage. It may not look like a lot. I'm not capped, but 44% definitely hits a lot harder than if you didn't know anything about PvP decrease and increase and they were just around 5 to 10. It makes my attacks hit harder. It's GOAT. It's GOAT. It's the GOAT PvP stat. If you want to be a PvP player, you have to get you some increase. It's some decrease, which is actually more important. If you want to be a PvP player, PvP decrease is the most important stat. You don't want to get melted, get you some PvP decrease. You can, it allows you to make mistakes and not die in one attack. Even though we don't want to make mistakes, we want to cut the mistakes out. It makes it so your games are more enjoyable. My guard damage is pretty low. Not really focusing on guard breaking people, don't really guard break too much in Dimensional Duel as an Iron Man. But when I did run the spec, they gave me 30% more guard damage, and I was around 41%. I did notice that. It was a lot of guard breaks left and right. Guard damage decreases at 35%, still not too high, but I have some, so it's a numbers game. Super villain damage and decrease, don't care about those at all. I'm a PvP player. This is my PvP set, and if you care more about being a PvP player, then you can still do damage to PvE targets. But if you focus more on being a PvE player, you won't be able to compete in PvP. You see? So it's better to get your foreset, focus on your stats, keen in on what you need. That way, you can have the best of both worlds. I go into DZ with my PvP gear, and I'm working on PvE gear right now because at the end of the day, PvP is king. I'll show you guys some stats. I have a double defense pierce on my head, which is great because you need defense pierce on your head as an Iron Man, at least one. I'm running Midgardia as well, so that gives me a little bit crit rate. So I'm not having to search for crit rate on my head, even though I gotta roll. That single attack roll, it could have been a stat to help get me some more defense pierce, so I could take a core off maybe, or it could have been a triple defense pierce. That could also have saved me a core. Like, when you look at your stats and you see these percentages, right? Like, let's say my triple crit damage, right? If I didn't roll triple crit damage right here, how would I have to make that up? Either an Omega card, or I would have to go through some battle badges, but I would have to make something work. So it's all about moving things around and making it be your creation. These gloves need insane amount of work. I was telling you guys about the status effect resistance. I got double status effect resistance and no use for it. I have no cooldown on my boots. That's huge. Your boots are needed for cooldown. We looked at my 9.6% cooldown, and now you can see why. Everyone's a work in progress. I hope this video helped you all out. And keen in, focus in, and let's get this shit. Peace.